So, what are we gonna do tonight, O.C.G?
Well, the same thing we try to do every night, Bertrum. Take over YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for Alan Wake 2. So, dear viewer, if you wouldn't mind, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the bloody channel. So, Alan Wake 2 released yesterday and is, unsurprisingly, the sequel to 2010's Alan Wake. Though technically it's kind of sort of the fourth Alan Wake experience after the original game, 2 DLC expansions, The Signal and The Writer, a proper standalone kind of sequel, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, not to mention the Alan Wake DLC for that game Control, which released in 2019. And on the subject of Control, to fully understand Alan Wake 2, you not only have to have played the original Alan Wake, The Signal, The Writer, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, Control, but you also have to have played the Alan Wake DLC for Control. Why, you might ask? I just told you why, because otherwise you're not going to have a bloody clue what's going on in this game. So what is going on in this game? Story. Well, there's Alan Wake, and he's a writer, right? And, a dark place, a place of dark things. And Alan Wake is kind of in this dark place after the events of the original game, The Signal, The Writer, American Nightmare, Control's DLC, blah blah blah. And there's also an FBI agent who comes to town because another FBI agent who we control at the beginning of the game, who is completely naked, but that's neither here nor there, he gets murdered. The agent we control at the beginning of the game, not the FBI agent who comes into the game, who is our second playable character, because she is not naked. And she is a woman. What was I saying? Oh yes, so we got Alan Wake in a dark place of darkness, and we have an FBI agent in the real world, or what I interpret is the real... Basically, Alan Wake is trying to get out of the bloody dark place. That's it. That's the best way I can sum up this garbage. Alan Wake is in a dark place and he's trying to get out. And he's trying to stop some dark, evil, doppelganger, sinister, force wanker thing. And through the process of playing as both Alan Wake and this FBI agent, not the naked FBI agent who died at the beginning of the game, the not naked female FBI agent, through the playing as both of them, you'll do things and solve the stuff. Never mind, the story is complete and utter gobbledygook. Pay it no heed. So, gameplay. Now, this being a third-person survival horror type game, you'll be playing as either Alan Wake or the aforementioned not naked FBI agent, and you'll explore locations like forests, or a theater, or a cinema, or a city, or a subway tunnel, solving environmental puzzles, and killing enemies. Actually, calling it killing enemies is maybe making it sound a lot simpler than it actually is. You see, the enemies in this game, and in the original Alan Wake, are possessed by darkness, and you have to use your flashlight or a handy flare to burn off said darkness, before you can then shoot the shit out of the enemy. So you'll be doing that. And there's a couple of boss fights, there's some darkness you have to burn away that might get in your way, but luckily, unlike the original Alan Wake, in which inanimate objects could become possessed by darkness and fly at you like pairs of underpants on your wedding night, luckily in the sequel, there is no possessed objects, so you'll mostly just be dealing with bastards and bastardettes who have gone and got themselves possessed by darkness. And I must say, the combat in this game is rather fun when you get to do it. For some reason, this sequel, although it's probably about 3 times longer than the original Alan Wake, probably has 3 times less combat in it. More time in this game is spent to the environmental puzzle solving I mentioned before. Now, most of this will happen when you're playing as Alan, who has the ability to go into a location and, let's just say, move it around using the power of the written word. So you can make a location expose a wall, or not expose a wall, or reveal a door, or some such nonsense. I'm making it sound incredibly complicated. And it really is. And in fact, I often spent time finding myself either not knowing what to do, getting lost, or running around in circles. And I think you'll be the same, dear viewer. A lot of time spent in this game will be running around in circles, trying to figure out what to do. But once you know what you're doing, it's a rather fun little experience. So what else can I tell you about the bloody game? No, we already covered the naked FBI agent at the beginning, who, might I add, has a lovely penis. Lovely penis. I've seen lots of penises in my time, and that was probably, maybe not in my top 10, but top 1,250 penises I've ever seen in a video game. So that's pretty good. What was I even saying? Oh yes, other things I can tell you about the game. Well, like I said, this is an incredibly long game. In fact, my playthrough took me about 18 hours. In comparison, the original Alan Wake takes me about 7 hours to get through, so this is a much beefier experience, but does that make it a better game? I'm still not decided, actually. Sometimes while I was playing, I was saying to myself, gee, O.C.G, this is a remarkable game. This is in your top 5 for the year. And other times when I was playing the game, mostly when I was getting lost or dying in a boss fight, I would say to myself, gee, O.C.G, don't you wish you just decided to spend time fingering your prostate this evening instead of playing this game? But happily, I can report that the first option is how I felt about most of the game, though I do think that the ending is a little bit of a middle finger to the rectum. You know what I mean when you get to it. Oh, and there is a particularly amazing sequence in which we get to see Alan Wake the musical. That was probably my favourite part of the whole game. So, we've heard some good things, we've heard some bad things, we've heard about fingering my prostate, we've heard about naked FBI agents, but what is my overall impression of this game? Therefore, I declare that Alan Wake 2 is ultimately splendid, and you should go and play it right now. Or you can go and finger your prostate or other anatomical location if that's what you'd rather be doing. But if you want to play a video game, and it's a horror game, I can recommend Alan Wake 2. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My very in-depth and totally not improvised review for Alan Wake 2. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Now, if you excuse me, I'm off to finger my prostate. Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.